Welcome to the Sit, Walk, Work podcast, a show about paying attention. My name is Dominic and I'm your host, and today is a guided meditation. And what you can expect is that the practice will open up with a brief recap, followed by the actual practice itself. If you find today's episode valuable, please share with your friends and family, and feel free to leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. The show will begin after the following chimes. Yeah, this is a real great opportunity for you to simply just be, uh, you know, hold, I would say this, hold your demands lightly. Allow yourself to be with the practice. Sure, we'll have an intention and some direction about where we're headed. But the nice thing about our minds is it never quite works out the way we want it to. Like in the story I was just sharing, sometimes you show up and you think you're going to do one thing, and the situation, you know, gives you and presents you with something else. And so my ask is for you to kind of meet that with a little bit of curiosity and a little kindness. And so we're going to be working on equanimity tonight. So, and what is that? That is the idea of, can we in our practice remain calm and balanced, regardless of what arises in the practice? Sometimes good stuff bubbles up, sometimes not so good stuff comes up, and we can be very reactive in either way to what is there. So, as we move through practice, I'm going to be kind of asking you to be a little neutral, pay attention, notice it, maybe don't get lost in the story of it or the way it feels, and see what that experience is like for you tonight. So, that's what we're going to do. And let's begin. We'll start with our posture, seated or lying down, whichever is most comfortable for you. Allow yourself to get into that position. Here's what I need from you. I need you to be able to breathe well. So can you take a breath in and just notice if your breath is compromised? If it is, adjust your posture till you can breathe in and out pretty easily. And then allow your hands to come to a comfortable resting place in your lap, by your side, on your desk, whatever is most available to you. And then shut the eyes, close the eyes, turn the attention inwards. That's where we're going. We're going inside to see what is happening. We're investigating the mind and the body and everything that works together to make up what I call your moment to moment experience. The intention for practice. This acts as almost a guide. I kind of mentioned it before, that I have for practice, and may you consider taking it for yourself. And that is, can you cultivate a sense of equanimity, meeting each moment with openness, balance, and compassion? Let that be the very loose target you hold as we move through our practice. The first part of our practice will open us up to this idea of mindfulness. So, what does it mean to be mindful? We hear the word tossed around very frequently. It means just paying close attention to what's happening, to not necessarily try to change it or alter it, but just see it come, see it go, see the next thing show up, and the process repeat over and over again. When you're sitting here without a specific object to focus on, there can be a variety of experiences happening. You have bodily sensations, you have the thoughts as they move around, you have the emotional tone that you came into practice with, you have your breath. All of these things are orchestrating together to kind of create your moment. And none of it is necessarily good or bad. That place of equanimity is recognizing this is all here. Our ability to be mindful can be used in a multitude of ways. Right now, we're sitting in what we call open awareness and meditation. But then there's a more focused version of this. And I would like for you to experience that. Allow your attention to rest on your breath. First, just observing how your breath naturally flows. I like to focus in on my nostrils, feeling the sensation of air entering and leaving there. Another cue is to observe your chest or your abdomen rise and fall with your breath, to feel that in your body. Now, it is natural that when you hold your attention on one specific thing, you will become distracted. As you've already observed, there's more here than just your breath. So if you feel or find that your mind is not focused on your breath, this is where you build the skill of being mindful. You've recognized your attention is shifted. And with a steady, kind hand, simply bring your attention back. Equanimity in this case is to stay balanced about the idea that your attention moved rather than have a reaction or a demand. We simply start over. And observing your breath, you also have the opportunity to observe the rhythm of your breathing, pattern and the speed and the pacing and how that changes. You may notice as you sit with the breath and you're working through paying attention, focusing on the breath, that a particular thought pattern or feeling about observing the breath can sometimes arise. If that's true for you today, just remember from an equanimity standpoint that that too is something we allow to be let go of. to simply recognize and honor the fact that we're paying attention to the breath in this moment. Begin to navigate your attention now away from being mindful of the breath and start to change directions to become mindful of your physical sensations, to observe with the same attitude, energy, and effort you gave to your breath. Now begin to give to your body as a whole. You can loosely, lightly, starting at the crown of your head, work from there and move all the way down to your feet as if you were just scanning the body in its entirety, one section at a time, noticing any sensations, tingling, tightness, warmth, coolness. Now, the nice thing is the breath lies in the body, so it's kind of incorporated naturally into you observing the sensations you feel in the body. And what's beautiful about paying attention to the body in this way is that it gives you the opportunity to recognize where like and dislike arises, or certain sensations have preference over others. And rather than leaning into those preferences today, consider infusing that equanimity to recognize them for what they are, but to not get lost in or try to avoid or push away from sensations that we particularly don't care for. In this way, you allow yourself to not be swayed too far off course, to suspend for even a moment your normal engagement and just recognize the sensations for what they are. It is as if as we move through practice, we go from this very large field of paying attention to meeting each individual segment along the way, noticing the breath, feeling the body, observing your current emotional landscape. Or put differently, what is the emotional tone of this moment for you? And you allow yourself to acknowledge the emotions that are present. Allow equanimity to keep you from being swept up in the emotions, to see and acknowledge and not be thrown around in like and dislike. Being mindful if tonight maybe it's a little harder or new to understanding and observing your emotions. So maybe it doesn't feel as if there's anything present. That's true for you, then what is? What is capturing your attention in this moment? And focus on that with equanimity and balance. And we'll begin to expand our mindfulness beyond just our emotions and our body and our breath. There is a steady, constant stream of thoughts that have been present the entire time, an inner dialogue providing commentary about the practice for you today. Letting our attention rest on that, allowing our power of observation to notice the thoughts, notice what happens when you give the thoughts your attention, and notice the nature of all of the permanence and change that has happened thus far. As you observe your thoughts, it can be easy to go down a rabbit hole with those, to get instantly lost. But simply take a step back, observe the breath, observe your body, and allow yourself to kind of zoom out a bit. Primary reason we want to develop the skill of equanimity is because it supports compassion in multiple ways. As we become more comfortable being balanced with all the changing parts of our experience, we can then begin to understand that every being is experiencing a version of what you're experiencing in this moment. And in most cases, they don't recognize or aren't aware of what you're learning. That that's a commonality of our shared human experience. That by learning to handle things better, we improve our abilities to be happier and to minimize pain and suffering. That's a truth that's universal for all of us. Notice where your attention has naturally gravitated towards and allow it to be there. Allow yourself to be present with it, being curious about the way it changes, the way it shifts from one part of the experience to another, how quickly you can go from liking to disliking something. And what does it feel like when you aren't pulled in either direction? Allow yourself the opportunity to appreciate the power of you showing up today, to engage, to learn about yourself, to hold yourself with a bit of grace, compassion, to attempt to stay balanced in a sea of constant change, to learn that even though things can be great and things can be difficult, you can be okay with all of it. Again, slowly move your hands, wiggle the fingers, toes. Take a breath in to close out the practice as you exhale and open the eyes.
That's the beauty of it.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. I invite you to check out my Substack, where we are building a community of like minded individuals to discuss all topics related to the idea of paying attention. I hope to see you there. But until then, with metta, may you be well.
Like